You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the August 2024 regular council meeting for the Municipality of Eastern Charlotte. I'm Florence Mitchell. Today's meeting begins with a presentation by Toby Taylor on a traffic study request. Under Old Business, bylaws Z.2.4 and Z.2.5 amending the rural plan for the Village of Blacks Harbor will have their third and final reading by title. Council will also discuss a municipal emergency response plan from the Emergency Measures Organization. Under New Business, Council will discuss a 3-municipality cooperative agreement, 2024 road paving, and a variance extension for a food truck. Now let's join Council at Macadavic Place in St. George.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I will now call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. here at Macadavic Place, St. George. Good evening and welcome to the August 2024 regular council meeting for the Eastern Charlotte Council. This is our 20th official council meeting for Eastern Charlotte and 21 more to go into the end of this council's term. I welcome all of those that are attending here tonight and those that are watching us on television. And I want to thank CHCO for being here tonight, and Florence Mitchell is doing all the work here tonight, so thank you for coming here tonight. At this point, I'm going to ask for a adoption of the agenda tonight. I'm looking for a motion to adopt the agenda for the meeting of August the 21st, regular meeting of council, with the following addition: the Seaview Gospel Church letter that we had brought to us at the last earlier this week, I guess it was. So I need a motion for that. Councilor McQuarrie, seconded by Councilor Thompson. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 3 is conflict of interest disclosure. This is your opportunity to disclose any conflict of interest. If not, we move to 4, adoption of the minutes of the previous council meeting. July the 17th, 2024, regular meeting of council. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of July 17th, 2024, regular meeting of council as circulated to members of council. I need a motion for that. Councilor Thompson, and a seconded by Councilor Lee. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. August 13th meeting, 2024, closed meeting of council. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of August the 13th, 2024, a closed meeting of council as circulated to the members of council. I need a motion for that. Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councilor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. And contrary, and that's passed unanimously. We move to 4C, which is the August 15th meeting, and this is a public hearing of objections. I need a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of August the 15th, 2024. It was a public hearing of objections as circulated to members of council. I need a motion for that. Councilor Thompson, seconded by Councilor McKay. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. And it's passed unanimously. It brings us to business arising of the minutes. There are none tonight. Delegations, Toby Taylor. Toby's not here, so okay, we'll move on. Department reports. I'm going to go to 7A, the general government report, and this is the CAO, Jason Gaudet.
Thank you, Your Worship. General government report for the month of July. Under Housing and Development, met with Project Village Housing in Blacks Harbor on projects. On the ongoing projects, they are waiting for provincial approval and some water course items in Blacks Harbor. Working with surveyors on a subdivision, and then it will come to approval for relating to that Project Village. Also completing a subdivision of property for the Mill Street property and transfer to the new owner. Parks and recreation upgrades will continue at the basketball court. We actually had Funday Fencing on site here today at the St. George at J.O. Spinney Drive, looking at the fence for the basketball courts. Awaiting replacement of the stairs at Eagle's Nest down at the lower area. Some repairs needed with Canal Beach walkway. Actually, a discussion with a concrete contractor today on that, as well as bushing along the road. To be done at the end of the season. Just to add to that with the Parks and Recreation too, we are still continuing to quote out and look for contractors to give us a full quote on a project of docks at the lower basin. So that is still ongoing. Finance, the others are expected to deliver the 2023 financial reports in September. And for water in Black Arbor, several meetings with the corporate owners of the water supply for Black Arbor on turbidity of water and possible repairs and survey of the 4+ kilometers of distribution line from the wells. Also, the corporation is planning on bringing in a filtration system. We are gathering specs on that system as we speak. New water exploration also on Black Arbor water. Engineers are expected to be in the area in the next few weeks. So certainly even as early as this Saturday, there will be some survey work done on the water system in Black Arbor. So we do expect to see, so we ask everybody to send in a post for residents to limit use, and they should expect some lower pressure and possibly some turbidity as we work through and do some repairs. It won't be done by us, but the corporation, and some survey work that's going to be done on those pipes. Wastewater in Black Arbor, we're compiling data on sludge presence in two of the ponds or the cells in Black Arbor Lagoon. Some of the previous surveys indicate some of the areas have about really 25% free capacity, so they're 75% full. So those lagoons, we're going to have to look at it within the next 6 to 12 months and how to resolve that problem. Water for St. George, results of the IBA water exploration project were not favorable, so some of the test wells that we've been doing in the St. George area for new water hasn't come back positive, so bad results, not a whole lot of water. So it's certainly disappointing because of the length of time it took to get to this end result. However, if there's a silver lining, we are looking at some different areas, and one of those is possibly in the upper Latang towards exit 56 in that area. So we're going to shift our field of view and look at some other areas. I've already spoke with the province on hopefully getting some commitments with them to tighten up the timeline for the next set of test drills. Hopefully we don't have to go through another 18 to 24 months of all this preliminary work, do some test wells, and then get a disappointing result again. As well, I think there was we did some additional testing with wells in St. George. I'll add to this, I think it's also in the Public Works report. We did some additional test on wells in St. George. We had some people request us to just sort of look at the possibility of creosote or tar infiltration, just because some old railroad ties that had been present throughout the years around well 2, and we did get results on those today that came back negative, so that's good news. Roads, quotes just received on some additional streets. Some of those additional streets that we're quoting out were Granite Street, Carlton Street, Hospital Street in Black Arbor, and requesting a hard schedule of paving for the upcoming gas tax work for the Manor Road and for Arena Street. So I think we're getting some commitments there. Sidewalks, will request project estimates on several key areas of curb repairs, as well as sidewalk leveling spots. I think that's coming up within some of our correspondence. So there's certainly some areas that we need to look at doing some repairs. Need to review future of the plaza around the post office too. I think that's been raised. Some council members have raised that. And just to look at that monument, everything out front of the St. George Post Office, there's definitely some heaving going on over the winter months and causing that to be unlevel. YMCA met with the YMCA and Dillon Engineering on the progress of childcare building cost estimates. Right now, we've gotten back some 3 cost estimates for possible childcare building options in St. George, and we're going to work through those. We got a future meeting coming up with the YMCA, and as well working with the province on some possible funding for that. So things are still, I know it's taking some time, but things are still positively moving in the right direction. Staffing, quoting HR company for assistance is with HR generalist. Also discussion with other municipalities on a cooperative role for HR, if that's a possibility. Pretty much the other two, St. Stephen, St. Andrews are much in the same boat, really looking to have some sort of HR expertise. EMO working with the fire chief on civic number review of Lake Diggity Wash. One thing we're finding as we have taken over these rural areas is that the civic numbers are a bit of a shambles, to say the least. Some of their community names, for example, they say Piscahagans and Canal. So we're trying to work through some of these changes with them. And anyone that's from Canal knows Piscayhagan is nowhere near Canal. So they're really they have a system of doing things, but sometimes that doesn't really work with the fire department getting a phone call at 2 in the morning that Piscayhagan Road there's a fire. Unfortunately, it's going to come across as being in Canal. So we are working through those. A lot of those are in the rural areas, especially around Lake Diggity Wash, north of Lee Settlement, areas that really may not have a whole lot of permanent residents, but we're certainly working with the province on fixing those. Fire, working on dry hydrants for water supply, quoting out parts and jobs with contractors, also water alteration permits, and garbage, finalizing tender documents for garbage collection with Eastern Charlotte. I was supposed to have had a meeting with the province. It's been postponed. Regarding the request from the province to include the rural areas outside of Eastern Charlotte. So that's still to be discussed. I mean, I guess the only issue we find with that is that including that data in garbage collection may skew our overall numbers. Number one, to see how much trash that we're actually sending to the landfill. We will have additional weight that will be in there that you can't really sort through. So that's, difficult for us to pull numbers down the road, especially as we start trying to improve on recycling and certainly for cost too, of how to split that cost of to the few homes that are outside the rural area. So still some discussions going on, and that's the general government report.
Thank you, Jason. That's a big report, and thank you for that. Any question or comment on that? Councillor Hatt, would you like to speak on the water in Black Sabre?
Other than it's been a long battle, and hopefully with this weekend, the testing and surveying that they're doing with the water line, hopefully we get some information to get some at least quick turnaround on understanding what's going on, because the new water supply is still a ways out yet. There's to be built and finalized. So
yeah, it's good to see in the report that there is a fair amount of progress, so things are moving. So that's good. Any other questions or comments in that report? There's a lot in there. Okay, we'll move ahead. I'm going to call on Alex Henderson to come forward now. This is 7B, the reports of the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission. And Alex, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. All right, so staff attended a public hearing of objections related to two Village of Black Harbour Rural Plan amendments. One was related to your commercial zone and was for improving that commercial zone to make it a little bit more possible to do some more commercial development, as well as more options for housing development in Black Harbour. The second was related to just a single property for a multifamily residential property. Council may proceed to the next steps related to the adoption of those bylaws to go forward. So those, I think, are later on your agenda tonight. The attached minutes for the June meeting, which were the approved minutes from the July meeting, so you're always getting a month delay there. There was a variance that was issued for Lester McKay in Penfield for an agricultural lot allowing 2 mini homes as a secondary use to support agricultural operation there. We met with CMHC for a second Housing Accelerator Fund application. There was a previous one, and basically all the region's applications were denied in that round. But we're working with them again, CMHC that is, and they've expressed some positive comments about your draft application this round. So if Council has further questions about that, I would direct that to the CAO. With regard to development, there's been 60 building or development permits issued year to date, 17 new in the report period, so there's a lot of construction happening right now. And you're about $3.7 million on your total construction value. There's been 10 variances or terms and conditions approved year to date, 2 new in the report period. 17 tentative subdivision plans have been approved year to date, and that adds 41 new building lots to Eastern Charlotte year to date. 16 zoning confirmation letters, 4 new in report. 3 deed or exemption documents were approved for the land registry. And we have 14 net new dwelling dwelling units permitted year to date. So net new means if you minus all the demolitions, this is what you're up for new dwelling units in Eastern Charlotte. And so there's 7 new were permitted in the report period alone, so quite a number. With regard to enforcement, we have 59 open enforcement files still working on, which were violations either of the Dangerous Unsightly Premises Bylaw or Community Planning Act bylaw or Building Code Administration Act regulation. 43 of these files have been closed, or 43 files have been closed year to date, or since 2023, I should say. We've had 4 enforcement files closed for compliance in the report period. And I'll stay on for some of the other items that I was mentioning there for tonight. If there's questions related to those, I can take those at that time or now. But back to you, Your Worship. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. I'll go to council at this point. Any questions or comments? If not, thank you very much for coming in tonight. I appreciate it. Have a good summer night in Eastern Charlotte. 7C, fire report. Councilor McCabe, would you be able to do that for us? Thank you. Just take your time. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, fire department report. So incidents per month, fire and explosion, rubbish and grass fire, 10 to 19, that's it? Okay, just the one, okay. So just 1, fire explosion, 1. Rescue miscellaneous, 1. Vehicle incident, 3. Resuscitation call, 1. And the total rescue and resuscitation call, 5 altogether. Public hazard power line down, 1. Public service standby, there's none. Public service mutual aid, 4. Alarm, no fire, there was none. Alarm, no fire, 1. That's smoke or steam mistaken. Alarm, no fire, detector activated, 6. Department training, 13. Or fire department training, 13. Fire department voluntary work, 0. And total Charlotte Fire Rescue total, 31.
Great, thank you, Councilor McKay. Any questions or comments on the board? If not, we're going to go to the Public Works report, and I'll call on Councilor McQuarrie.
First off, I want to thank the Works Department for coming out today to the memorial out on the airport. They saved us a lot of time digging holes. 150 trees were planted today, and it would have taken us a lot longer to do it if we didn't have that auger, so
Yeah, you did.
kudos to them for that.
Yeah, you're out there all day.
I was out there from 8 o'clock till about 3:30, I guess it was.
I see you had quite a team of people there working too.
Yeah, we had
Some cadets and stuff.
60, I think it was.
Cadets from
Cadets from
Warmont,
Gagetown come down and planted the trees and that, and yeah, things went along fine, and it's a lot faster with that auger digging them holes.
Yeah, Harold Wright was a great leader to.
Oh, he can organize anything, believe me.
He did a great job.
Yeah. As far as the Works Department, there's not a whole lot going on. They're moving a lot of stuff down by the wastewater treatment plant there. They're moving stuff from behind the fire hall there. They're getting a lot of that down there. And Jason has touched on most of it. They're the water and all that, cutting grass and what have you. So other than that, that's pretty much it for the Works Department report.
Great. Any questions or comments on Councilor Dederack, you first?
May I ask a question to our CAO, Worship? Yep. So I have some questions about, it's for well number 2. It says that there is, if I understood correctly, the acceptable levels of chloroform should be less than 1. There's list 1 here, so it's like, should we be concerned about this?
You know, we will get those in summer months that you'll get like a sample reading of about 1 that will pop up. But no, usually you'll see next month it'll go down. So it really depends on the samples that went up. Sometimes it can be the slightest thing that causes
Okay.
indication like that. If you see them month after month, then definitely be a concern. But a lot of times the labs will come back themselves, the St. John lab, and say this is a repetitive issue, so look more into it.
All right, and then another follow-up question for well number 2. It says that for the turbidity, it's 17.8, and it should be at a 1. So what would cause that?
Again, it could be some sampling. We do daily turbidity readings
Yeah.
at the wells, so sometimes samples that do go to St. John. So, if it was a case of the same, you had a 1 with your coliform and some turbidity issues, so we could just have a bad sample that goes. And sometimes it can be the slightest thing. Sometimes it's the jar, they open it, water comes out, maybe they've touched the inside. So, being sort of has to be a laboratory sample. And again, having just 1 would not raise too many flags. If we were we also do our daily samples outside of the labs as well. So if our daily samples are coming back, the ones we do on site, and they're all indicating negative results, then again, we would do another round of testing. Or even if we don't catch it, the province catches it as well, because all those lab reports, anything we do through St. John Labs automatically goes to Fredericton as
Okay.
well.
So, but conclusion is it's okay?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
nothing to be concerned about?
No.
Okay,
no.
perfect.
And with with the wells that we did, and I think you led that with the testing with the carcinogens,
Yeah.
and so we were able to rest ashore, and because we really want to make sure. I mean,
Yeah.
certainly residents raise some concerns, and sometimes we're like, okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So we put those through. I had a great discussion with the lab manager, and he was like, I have no reason whatsoever to believe that there's any issues with that well. So
Okay,
it was very
perfect.
positive.
All right, great,
Yep.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we move ahead to Parks and Recreation. I'll call on Councillor Hatt.
I don't believe there's a report this month by our Parks and Rec
Okay,
foreman.
no, if you want, we'll move on to committee reports. Would you like to have something to say? I know you're itching to talk about the Fog Fest, and that's the next big weekend coming up here, Labor Day weekend, and I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, so we're just finalizing kind of post-meeting of Summerfest and things that, worked, didn't work, whatnot. So once again, any feedback from the public is definitely greatly appreciated on steering it where it goes next year and what we do and what we can do better, that's for sure. And once again, I want to say thank you to all the volunteers and the fire departments for all the help, and many volunteers of all kinds of different community vendors that came out and helped this year to make a successful Summerfest. So right out of one festival into another, Fog Fest, hard to believe. Next weekend is Labor Day weekend. Where'd the summer go? So once again, kind of the same idea as we've run down there before on like the milestone dates. So like the senior social will be on Friday. One thing that there is going to be a little bit different, last year there was an ask for something on Friday nights for adults to do. So upstairs in the arena there will be Take Two. Sean and Tina will be doing a kitchen party, so singing and a good time there, a fellowship with people. Saturday morning, Stella Maris will be doing their breakfast like they do every year. 9:30, the Soapbox Derby will start on the hill going down to the factory. So Brunswick Street, that is. And anybody that ever comes and watches that, it's great to see the kids. And to be honest, I always get a kick out of how many parents are competitive about it. So I know I'm one. So there's a tie-dye run this year at 12 p.m. on Saturday. Connors' Day and Family Carnival. That's at the school, like always. 6:30 to 9:30, Ivan Daggle is going to play in the park this year. That's the entertainment that was reached out for this year. And then you have your fried dough, and the kitchen's doing a special bag of fries. And then Saturday night there'll be a fireworks show also. So, and that'll be put on by Connors Brothers. Sunday morning down in the Main Street Park, there'll be the community church service, and the annual horse pull will be Sunday afternoon in behind the arena. And then Sunday afternoon back in the Main Street Park for kids. There'll be, I guess, and adults too, but the bouncy castles and some live music there. And anyway, go on the Facebook or the website. Chris has set up a really mobile-friendly website that he just showed me tonight, which is awesome. Thanks, Chris, for that. Makes it easy for viewing. And the craft market will be at the Main Street Park from 1 to 4. Motor Show and Shine, 2:30 to 4:30. That'll be at the Black Harbor School parking lot. So I know last year there was a little bit of heated conversation on parking in there, but that will be blocked off again on that Sunday morning for the cars to park in there for the Motor Show and Shine. So that'll be off parking for people for the festival. And then the parade will be at 5:30 p.m. So once again, I suspect next week we'll be sending out the road closure times, Jason, for all that stuff. So, and once again, Hillary's Hope for Hunger will be collecting donations during the parade in the food bank. So last year, anybody just brought it out to the side of the curb, and their volunteers picked it up and loaded it on the truck. So they had a great amount of food last year. So that was a great thing to see. So anyway, the rest of it's all on Facebook and the website. So that's pretty much that. Kicks off on Friday, next Friday. So as far as recreation, though, I will, Your Worship, if you don't mind, I will touch on a couple things coming up. And there will be a motion coming here from council to accept the projected rates for this year for the arena and the startup date. So right now, the tentative date that'll be at the end of this report will be to start the first day of rentals of September 23rd, 2024 for the 2024-2025 season. Ice rentals, small changes this year. Really over the biggest increase would be the private skate or the last minute sales that we have. It'll be coming from $50 to $60, so up $10. Still the lowest rate is $167 to rent it normally, so still over $100 savings. As far as the rest of them, we're gonna look at getting rid of the cents part of it, rounding it to the nearest dollar. So minor hockey and non-prime time has gone up 25 cents, 167. Industrial, we're asking that except 180, that's an increase of $1.75. Prime time will be 215, that's an increase of $2.25. And like I said, the private bubble and skate will be up $10. So that'll be a motion that's coming at the end of this. If you're looking at booking ice times this season, please reach out to the Parks and Rec Department and make your request. I know they're trying to get nailed down for schedule for work and working with the CAO to figure out a schedule for the season. So I do want to extend a huge thanks to the Park and Rec team, Drew, Tyler, and Hudson, who spent I don't know how many hours that it would have been. And if anybody was at the Canal Beach after the Hurricane Debbie, you would have thought that it was like a seawall on a saltwater beach. The amount of debris and stuff that was along the whole length of the beach, the whole way to the point, was enormous. Them three individuals, obviously I know they work for the municipality, had took the time, cleaned it, raked it all up, and was able to get that all cleaned back up for a beautiful weekend that happened at the end of that week. The crew is small, but with them three, they're definitely mighty, and they spend a lot of their time throughout Eastern Charlotte trying to make sure that everything just clicks. The museum will be closing this coming week. If you haven't been there yet, I suggest popping in because it'll be closing for the season. So I want to thank Isaac and Isabella for attending the museum all this summer. One thing that is happening here at the McAdavid Center out in the ball field, the long overdue pitching mound is going in. So Joe Stevens has graciously volunteered to help with that. And so I know Drew and our CAO, Jason, there's some conversation going on about when that's going to happen over the next week or so before high school baseball starts. So over a little bit of the week, we're into the Fog Festival, so I encourage everybody to look at a brochure, go on Facebook, or go to the website and check that out. So, and also another thing that I just kind of want to put out there, as you know, we don't have a parade in the summertime here in St. George, but we have a Christmas parade. That was one thing that was asked by many taxpayers in the public over the last couple of years. I know we've had a great success with it. So that Christmas festival kickoff will start on November 29th, December 1st. So yes, I'm bringing up Christmas in the month of August. So that's it, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So if you would allow, I'd like to put a motion forward to accept the rates that were set out in the my statement of,
Yeah, that's under Parks and Recreation, right?
yeah.
Yeah, under that committee. So you go ahead and read that out, please.
I would ask that put out for a motion for non-prime time, rate be 167, minor hockey high school rate be 167, industrial rate be 180, prime time be 215, and private and bubble skate last minute rentals be $60.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, and I need a seconder for that. I got all kinds of hands. Councillor McKay, I saw you first. Question or comment on the motion? No. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously.
Second motion will be to have a tentative start date of rentals, September 23rd, first day of rentals opening up at the arena at that date.
We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Councillor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Anything
Thank
else,
you.
Councillor? That's it?
That's it.
Financial statement tonight. I'm looking for a motion that council accept the financial report for July 2024. Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor McKay. Okay. Sounds like an auction here. Okay. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify. Oh, Councillor McQuarrie, you got the floor. Sure.
I just have one question. I never seen this one before, so I don't. What is Planet Transaction? Are the aliens coming?
No, so that's for
Just yours.
searching, any type of searching that we have to do on private, like properties. So Planet is through deed searches,
Oh,
any
okay.
type of property boundaries and stuff.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Old business, we have 9A, bylaw Z.2.4, amending the rural plan for the village of Black Sabre. This is the third and final reading by title only. I need a motion that council accept the third and final reading in its entirety of bylaw Z.2.4, amending the rural plan for the village of Black Sabre. I need a motion for that. Councillor Hatt?
I move that council accept the third and final reading by title only of bylaw Z.2.4, amending the rural plan for the village of Black Sabre.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, and I need a seconder for Councillor Tidd. Question or comment? I'm going to go to Jason if you want to speak on this.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. So 7.2.4, just so that residents are aware, this was dealing with commercial zones in the sort of central core of Black Sabre. Sometimes people may know that as sort of the alley area and behind the old store. So those were zoned as sort of commercial, but they will remain that. However, they will be brought into compliance with the addition of 7.2.4. This will sort of sort those issues out and allow people that if they want to do building permits in those areas to do such and be within compliance. So that's 7.24.
Good. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Hatt, you're next.
Your Worship, can I ask the CAO a question?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's also to help with any development, because we ran into a snag down there where a development was done of a duplex, and it was technically commercial, and trying to get a building permit for it was pretty hard.
Correct. Yep.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of a third and final reading in its entirety of bylaw Z.2.4, amending the rural plan for the village of Black Sabre, signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. I'll declare that the third and final reading bylaw Z.2.4, amending the rural plan for the village of Black Sabre. Now we're going to 9B, which is the bylaw Z.2.5, amending the rural plan for the village of Black Sabre, the third and final reading by title only. I need a motion for that tonight. Councillor Hatt?
I move that council accept the third and final reading by title only bylaw Z.2.5, Z.2.5, amending the royal plan of the Village of Blacks Harbor.
I need a seconder for that. Councillor Tidd, thank you. Jason, do you want to speak on that one?
Thank you, Your Worship. So this 7.2.5, so this would be a rezoning of what was, what residents may know as the old Blacks Harbor Hospital. This would allow for some of that work that's been pending to continue to get underway. So this would be just a rezoning, moving it from a single two-family to a single two-family and multi-family residential zone. So moving from R1 to an R2.
Great. Any other questions or comments on this motion? All those in favor of a third and final reading in its entirety of bylaw Z.2.5, amending the rural plan for the Village of Blacks Harbor, signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. I declare that the third and final reading of bylaw Z.2.5. We move on to 9C, the Municipal Emergency Response Plan, EMO. I'm looking for a motion that council forward the proposed Municipal Emergency Response Plan, EMO, to the Public Safety Committee for review and recommendation. I need a motion for that tonight. Councillor Lee?
I move that council forward the proposed Municipal Emergency Response Plan, EMO, to the Public Safety Committee for review and recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. I need a seconder for that. Councillor McClory. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. New business tonight, we have a few of them here tonight. 10A is economic development, the 3 municipality cooperative agreement. I need a motion that council accept the proposed economic development cooperative agreement. First, I'm going to go to Jason on this first, and then we'll look for a motion.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is something that's been worked on amongst Eastern Charlotte, St. Stephen, and St. Andrews on doing a cooperative agreement or a cooperative approach on economic development. That would be hiring at least one staff member between the 3 municipalities to focus on the priorities of each of those councils on economic development, whether it's increase in commercial, increase in housing, population increases, tax base increases, be based off of the direction of those 3 councils. So something that's been worked on, and that would be sort of almost viewed as a sort of a staff member amongst the three municipalities.
Good. At this point, I need a motion to accept the proposed economic development cooperative agreement. Need a motion for that. Councillor Tidd, seconded by.
I just wanted to.
Okay, you go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I move that council accept the proposed economic development agreement pending or conditional on the acceptance of the 2 other municipalities named.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that. Councillor McQuarrie. Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Dedirakis, you're first.
Okay, on the spot here. I guess I'll be brief. Like, the needs of Eastern Charlotte, St. Andrews, and St. Stephen are different enough to where I have reservation about one person's ability to adequately represent all 3 at once. There's definitely some overlap, such as housing, affordable housing, but I'm worried that the workload might be too much for one person. And I guess the second part is, we still, we have to address the elephant in the room too, where we are still paying the service commission, $800,000 for services that aren't really defined yet. And I think the taxpayers want to know what they're bang for buck, like what they're actually getting, what value they're getting from this service. So, yeah, I guess the way that I'm thinking about this, I think we still have time. Like, there isn't a deadline. Is there a deadline to make this decision immediately? Yeah. So my recommendation, how I feel is, I think that this should be tabled until September, October, or I don't know, whatever council decides. I think it should be tabled just so we have some more time to think about this and see how the other municipalities vote.
Councillor Dedirakis, is that a motion?
Yes, it is a motion.
I know you're thinking out loud.
Yeah, I'm thinking out loud. I'm trying to think of what the exact motion is, though. I think it should be tabled, but I don't have the data as to when this should be reviewed again.
Okay, I need a second.
October? Sorry, I'll make the motion. I would like to table this. I move that council table the proposed economic development cooperative agreement until October.
Just keep in mind that if we are going to move ahead with it, that
Yeah.
it has to be up for the budget
Yeah.
time, so the council, for deputy mayor to have it for the budget prep. So I need a seconder for that. Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on the tabling of this? Okay. What I'll do, I'll take a vote on this. Councillor Dedirakis, is that a yes? You want to table this? That you made it, so I take it that's a yes?
Yes.
So I'm just going to try to do Councillor Adam Hatt, Councillor,
I vote to table it till October.
so that's a yes. Deputy Mayor Hatt, how do you vote, yes or no? Yes. Councillor Lee? Councillor McQuarrie? Councillor McKay?
Yes.
Councillor Thompson? Councillor Tidd? And, okay, so that motion is carried. Then we'll move on. Okay, so we'll move on to road paving, 10B, road paving. And I'll get Jason to speak on this one before we start.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is 2024 road paving, part of the gas tax plan. This gas tax plan is previously approved from the previous village of Black Harbor and the previous town of St. George. However, it's brought before council for blessings, just to ensure that this council is aware of the funding and the funding cost and range that's outlined here. So it's supposed to be for Manor Road for a cost of $226,500, and the Arena Street, Black Harbor, at a cost of $149,000. And as you can see, the breakdown for funding, all of those are gas tax fund or Canada Community Build Fund, as it's now called.
Okay, I need a motion that council receive and accept the document entitled the 2024 road paving as provided by the CEO. I need a motion by Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor Dedirakis. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's paved. Okay, we move on. 10C, variance extension for a food truck. All right, I'm getting hungry. Okay, Jason, would you like to speak on this one first?
So yes, this is the food truck variance. Is a food truck that is on Route 172, just south of Penfield Corner. It's been in operation this summer. Many people have seen, especially on the weekends, that's there. So this would be an extension of that variance. The variance, I believe, has expired. So yeah, I think Alex maybe can add some notes to that if you want. Alex? Sure. Yep.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Alex. Don't trip over the wires.
Yeah, thank you. So this is actually, it was a temporary use authorization in 2023, and temporary use authorizations they're not quite variances. What they are in the act is their ability to allow a temporary development, something that's not fixed to the ground, like a movable food truck fits that kind of scope. And they're designed primarily to allow some flexibility to bylaws for entrepreneurial creativity, where a rezoning is costly, lengthy, it takes months, and sometimes the opportunity's gone because the season's gone. So this was really for 1 year only, but when this was coming up to lapse, when we contacted them, there was just some delays getting back to us, and then we relayed it to council, but council's agenda, the early summer's quite busy, so we haven't got around to this quite yet. So this opportunity here to look at it would be to ask council if you want to consider a rezoning request, and just consider. You don't actually have to commit now to say, yeah, we'll do it and we'll approve it. No, you go through the process still, and at the end you could say no. But the idea is, if you're willing to consider a rezoning from these individuals and they've made the preliminary attempts to apply for rezoning, it's a $1,500 application. They haven't paid that yet. But if council is willing to consider a rezoning request from them to rezone the property for commercial, then that would be something which they could get a second year extension, or however many months would be deemed appropriate for the time period council thinks. Maybe it's 4 months or 6 months for a rezoning bylaw to go through the whole process under the act. So really, it's the idea, if council's willing to consider a rezoning, just entertain it, I should say, then you can the planning committee can give them an extra extension on that temporary use authorization. If you decide that you're not really in a position where you would consider a rezoning, then essentially we have to treat this as an enforcement file because they're well past their deadline.
At this point, I'll entertain a motion that council extend the existing variance for that food truck at Route 22, 176 Penfield for a period of 12 months. I'll entertain a motion for this.
Your worship, so I guess any motion on this would be changing that from a variance to a temporary use, I guess,
Okay.
changing that language.
Okay, temporary use?
Yes, yeah.
So I'll have the person that gives the motion to okay. Okay, I need a motion on the floor. Councillor Ted, do you want to go ahead?
I move that council extend the temporary use of the food truck at 22 Route 176 for a period of 12 months.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder for that. We got all kinds. Councillor Macquarie, I'll take you on that one. Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Hatt, you're first.
I get a question, but maybe Alex would be better to
Sure,
answer that.
Yeah, absolutely. You've eaten there. It's pretty good food, isn't it?
Absolutely, I eat there every weekend.
Yeah, yeah. We'll put a little plug in, maybe we'll.
The question I have is over an extension of 12 months. Would that be from today's date if it's ratified? Or would that be for next year's operating? Because I think it would be a terrible thing for them to open it up and then, this all falls to pieces in the middle of, food truck season. And now we're left with, not a very good outcome because nothing's been done, so.
So what this is essentially a consideration from council, a statement from council saying, yes, we will consider a rezoning request in the future. And if council makes a resolution to that effect, then what I'll have to do is take it back to the planning committee, who then will do the extension according to council's wishes. So it's kind of like a two-part thing here. And really what would happen if they do that extension, it's going to be retroactive to May. So May 2025 is what the maximum timeline would be. So that gives you plenty of time to do a rezoning should they complete their application and pay the required fee.
Perfect, thank you. That's all I was looking for.
So if I may, Your Worship, just a resolution might be something to the effect of, be it resolved, council, the municipality of Eastern Charlotte considers a rezoning application that would permit a takeout restaurant on a permanent basis at 22 Route 176. So something to that effect, so that you would just consider a rezoning request is essentially all your motion has to really have in it.
So if this was rezoned commercial, they could potentially put something other than a food truck there. Is that true?
So that is a very good question from Councilor McKay. So what you could do through that rezoning is establish terms and conditions on the development. You could say it's limited to this scope. It can only be a takeout restaurant, or it could be these types of uses and not these. So you have quite a lot of power when people apply for rezoning. You can stipulate that they do paved parking. You could stipulate that there's washroom facilities, et cetera, et cetera. There could be maybe concerns that are raised from neighbors, and you may be able to negotiate terms and conditions related to any concerns. So yeah, there's quite a lot of powers council has in that kind of process for rezoning.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we are going to be fine with the motion that we already just made? Okay. So we had, oh, you got it written there? What do you want to read that out?
So the recommendation of the change to the resolution would be that be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of Eastern Charlotte will consider the rezoning application that would permit a takeout restaurant on a permanent basis at 22 Route 176, and PID is given.
So I guess the question is, are they two separate motions?
So if Councillor Tid wants to rechange his
Okay.
motion.
Yeah, would you like to make, Councillor Two, would you like to change it to that? Okay, it's a yes?
Yes.
Councillor, we got the wording here.
I'll move the motion.
Yeah, we're going to hand it down. We're going to hand it down to you. Thank you.
Thanks. Be it resolved that council, Municipality of Eastern Charlotte will consider the rezoning application that would permit takeout restaurant on a permanent basis at 22 Route 176.
Councillor McCrory, are you fine with that? Good. Now we have a motion on the floor. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Thank you. So Fog Fest weekend, you can stop there on the way down. Okay. Correspondence. Tonight we have a letter from Veronica Skoji of Sidewalks, and I'm going to go to Councillor Dederakis on this.
Okay. Dear Council, I'm writing to bring to your attention the current state of the sidewalks in St. George, specifically on Main Street, Letite Road, and Riverview Avenue. It appears that these areas have been neglected, with weeds growing between cracks and at least 3 cracks per square. Additionally, the edges of the sidewalks have been damaged by the town's plow truck, resulting in debris such as small and large rocks scattered on the sidewalks. As a resident and parent, I find it particularly concerning that walking with a stroller is difficult due to the uneven surface, posing a risk to infants. The deteriorating condition of the sidewalks not only detracts from the town's appearance, but also presents a safety hazard. There's a serious risk of injury from tripping over the rocks, weeds, and numerous cracks. I urge the town to take prompt action to address these issues before they result in more severe consequences. Please consider discussing this matter at the next town council meeting. Thank you for your attention to this important issue. Sincerely, Veronica Skoji.
Thank you, Councillor Dederakis. Would you like to make a recommendation for that?
Yes, I recommend that, I will make a motion that this letter be sent off to the Public Safety Committee. Public Works
yeah,
Committee.
That's great. Okay, I need a seconder for that. Councillor Hatt. Question or comment on that? All those, Councillor Thompson, you're first.
Could we ask Public Works to brush the sidewalks with the trackless and put orange paint where the crack would be or where the damaged areas would be in the sidewalks?
Yeah, we can. We typically, if there's areas that are heavy heaves that are over the, I think it's a 3, there's a parameter that we have, so we can take a look at that and marking some of that out. I think just important as well, just to sort of highlight some of those areas that we need to bring some attention to. Like I mentioned earlier with the post office plaza being one that's been raised up a couple of times, I think by a couple of councilors here. And so yeah, we can certainly do that. And I think we have the brush on anyway, especially when it comes to Riverview Avenue right now. Needs some attention with some of the crumbling.
Any other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. We have another letter, and Councillor Thompson's going to read this out for us.
This is on behalf of the Seaview Full Gospel Church. The Sunday School Department is organizing a family fall festival to take place September the 7th from 1 till 4. The project is His Hands Extended. They're looking for a donation. I move that council make a donation of $250 to Seaview Full Gospel Church for their family fall festival.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councillor Thompson. I need a second. Deputy Mayor is seconded that. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and it's passed unanimously. That brings us to public presentation appearances at this point. Please note, under bylaw EC-01, Section 7.1, members of the public shall be entitled to address council for 5 minutes with no debate from council on matters of municipal jurisdiction. I ask you that you begin by giving your name and civic address for the record, and I will also add that I won't allow anybody to make accusations against anybody on any subject that works for Eastern Charlotte or any member of council or anybody else for that matter. If that happens, I have to stop you and ask you to leave. So you have anybody who'd like to come forward for 5 minutes? Councillor Rubin. Councillor Rubin.
Did you pay at the door?
I'll try to keep it short so you can have a little rest.
We're going to start charging you.
Sam Rubin, 33 Mount Pleasant Road.
Yeah, you have 5 minutes, Sam. Take them all. Oh, 4:55 now, sorry.
Last month's council elected not to proceed with the third reading of bylaw EC-12. Councillor McKay felt it was an overreach of government. Right on, 100%. Some bylaws fall under provincial regulations. henceforth, there's not much you fellas can do. There's a couple of things, not going to really benefit a whole lot of people. It's just a form of protest as a frustration that council has, no question about that. To get a building permit, not that easy. I kind of hope Alex would have still been here, but he's not. To get a building permit, you have to go through the Regional Service Commission, which is an independent body. That's what they say. They are designated by the province to carry out a variety of services to the municipalities, and there are 12 regional service commissions in the province. They do a variety of things: tourism, recreation, in our case, landfill operations, bylaw enforcement. And like I say, we pay a lot of money into the Regional Service Commission. The preferred way of getting a building permit is electronic application. I'm electronically challenged. I was going to tell you that right up front. I got so far and then I hit a brick wall. I engaged with another person to get the process done. And even at that point, they said this could be made easier. And it wasn't easy by any means. But the next part was real easy. Once I submitted, they took my money within about 3 minutes. As long as you give them a credit card number, but if you don't have a credit card number and you have no electronic means and you're older and you don't understand the process, I'm certainly can sympathize with people that don't know what to do. You have to go to St. Stephen. Well, that was a nice drive. They took your money. How much did you get done? Not much, I can tell you that. The reviewing is done by the planning department and to see if it works within the guidelines of the local government plan, municipal plan. And if it does, it goes to the building inspector. Okay, that's pretty good. In that permit, you can build a 620 square foot building without a permit. As long as you don't occupy it, you can build it, a garage, shed, whatever you want. I want to build a 128 square foot deck with a canopy over it. I submitted my permit 8 weeks ago. 8 weeks of good weather, 8 weeks of a contractor now who's not going to come. And I don't care if I ever do it at this point. I don't really want to pay any more tax, but if that was out behind my house, I probably would have built it by now. I probably would have started it and got at it. Because quite obviously, when this was handed to the regional service commissions, it was overwhelming for them to provide the services to the people. It's a mammoth task. The area's big. Just around this area, to go clear from Laprobe, Musquash, to Harvey, St. Andrews, Deer Island, Grand Manan, Campbell, it's a big area. I don't think they've got that much staff. They need more staff for sure. You know, and it would discourage you from doing anything. My project's only small, but it means as much to me as somebody developing a big project. It's not a lot of money, but it's still something that I'd like to do. If I'm not too old to do it by the time I get my permit. So, you know, I can see where you'd be frustrated with the outreach of government. And there's 3 tiers. There's the province, there's a regional service commission, and there's a council. And you're right down here. I hate to tell you. That's what it seems to be to me. That's all I had to say on that issue. Well, you know, 53 seconds left. The only thing I got to say about the basketball court down here, I don't feel that the fence should ever have been removed. I think it's a waste of taxpayers' resources and manpower. I think there could have been other options, and now that it's gone, we've got to replace it with a new one. We didn't have to replace it with a new one. We could have extended that one, and we could have flipped it over. We could have fixed the problem, even though we're upgrading certain things that needed to be upgraded. It's been in the works for some time. I'm not against that, but remember one thing. The overall safety of the public is the main concern. The people playing, the people in the yard, and the overall longevity of that repair will last longer if it's caged in. Thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thank you very much, Sam. Anybody else? Going once? Oh, I think I know her. You must know her.
My My name's Karen Kernigan. I live at 108 Latique Road. I wasn't going to come tonight because I had been to a burial today. And there's so many things that are more important than what I'm going to talk about. But I had reached out to most of the council, and I thought, you know, I've taken the time to reach out to you, so I need to be here tonight to reinforce what I've said so that you know that I just wasn't blowing in the wind. I just want to say what I needed to say. So I thought I would try to write something so I could remember what I wanted to say. So I said, good evening, my name is Karen Kernigan. I'm a resident of St. George. I'm here tonight to talk about a post I seen on Facebook about how our community is not looking as good as it should. I was in somewhat agreement with this, but didn't comment on it until I seen where Councillor Lisa McKay says that the council is considering tearing down the bandstand. Well, that touched me. I have reached out to most of the council and said we need a plan before just going in and tearing down the bandstand. Since the buildings from the Day Adventure Center have been gone for months and nothing has seemed to happen down there to enhance the property, I thought as a council there would be a plan in place before the buildings were gone. I also see that on Facebook that Irving has not been contacted about future plans. Nothing can happen down there until Irving knows about it. I'm not sure, but I think about April the buildings have been gone, except one, and maybe that was supposed to have been gone long before it left. So we're around 4 months that nothing has been done there. I know money is tight, but a well-maintained lawn, a few flowers, and some benches would go a long way. I'm not against a new bandstand. My concern is if you take it down, how long before it would be replaced? I would like to see the lumber in the yard, either to rebuild or fix it up before we just go in and rip it down. This bandstand has been used for many things. We have our Christmas parade, Santa Claus goes down there, and our Christmas parade ends there. I just thought that the bandstand we could decorate it with lights and bring beauty and joy to the community. Each one of you councillors have been elected to represent our area in Eastern Charlotte. But no matter what area you look after, yous are supposed to be a team and work together for the good of the community. I also see where it's posted about people not attending council meetings. I know yous post on Eastern Charlotte website, but I was wondering if it was shared to Facebook, maybe more people like me, when I see things posted, would attend council meetings because of the concerns that they see. In closing, I would like to thank each one of you at that table for the work that you do. And I'm not here to complain about you people, but I'd just like to see our Day Adventure Center be looked after and brought to life. And not with a whole bunch of money, because I'm not asking that, but just a few little things could enhance it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. I appreciate you coming in tonight. Anybody else would like to come forward? If not, we're going to go to statements of council. I just have a couple items tonight. Tonight, I'm just announcing that Councillor Thompson will be chairing the Fire Services Committee, and Councillor McKay will be doing the Administration Committee. Just a few announcements tonight. This is, I'm going to hold this up. It's the Back Bay Summer Night Market. It's coming up this coming weekend from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock at the Back Bay Wharf. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows about that. I'm going to hold that up so the camera can get that. On this coming Saturday, August 24th as well, from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock here at the Macadavic Place, there's a fundraising time for Maureen and Jason Hooper here in the building. So anybody that can come, there's going to be live music, auction, and a bake sale here on Saturday. And as well on, I don't know if I held, maybe I didn't hold that one up so you can see it. Camera can get that. These are all on this coming Saturday. That's where I'm holding. There's going to be lots of stuff. If you go from one to the other, you can get everything all in. And the 38th Annual Blueberry Festival at Penfield's Lions Club, there's all kinds of stuff going on, from breakfast in the morning to vendors market, kids' activities, a blueberry contest, a blueberry boozy bingo. I don't know what that means, but so all kinds of stuff going on Saturday. So there's the 38th Annual Blueberry thing. So it's this coming Saturday. You don't have to leave Eastern Charlotte. There's all kinds of stuff going on in Eastern Charlotte. I think that's all I have. I'm going to go to the Deputy Mayor next.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have concerning ECO6, personally, I'm still getting complaints on misuse of the bylaw and the streets that are approved. Please, people, go where we've worked so hard to get you allowed. Don't abuse it. Don't lose what we've got. The good part of this, I'm going to say that the work to the west has been pre-approved. A lot of it, the only thing we're working on or waiting on is the HUPs, which is highway usage permits, can make the connections. Once those come in, we will be connected clear to the 127 and up as far as Lawrence Station. So don't mess up what we've got, because this is just part A of the big plan. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Thompson. Councillor Hatt.
My only concern is the water in Blacks Harbor. When are we going to get it fixed? And it's unreal, the ups and downs of it, so there's got to be some stability in it. So I hope after this weekend that we'll have some solid answers that can be put out to the public.
Councillor Dedorakis.
Yeah, so Florence, if you can zoom in on this as well, please. This is the Eastern Charlotte Age-Friendly Community Survey. This is for everyone to fill out. There are over 80 questions. It will take approximately 10 minutes to finish. So far, there's been 152 responses, so thank you to those that have actually responded. But 152 is just shy of the population of Eastern Charlotte. So if you could actually fill this out, that would be great. With this information, it's an important step in building policies and services and structures that encourage healthy aging and well-being. And this will ultimately help council, help shape Eastern Charlotte in that direction. So please take 10 minutes and fill out the survey. And you can get a hard copy at the Municipal Hall, or you can just complete it online. Thank you.
Councillor Tidd.
I just want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. It's nice to see some people out. I've just got a couple things here. First of all, I want to thank Leanne Hatt and her volunteers for their continued work they do each year for organizing New Brunswick Day in Beaver Harbor. I think we as municipality maybe next year maybe can look at I know we sponsor it a little bit, but maybe we can look at having a bigger role or maybe taking maybe giving them a donation like we do for some other events. I think that's only right. They're volunteering their time, and they do a good job each and every year. The other thing I might want to mention, there's been requests by a few residents in Beaver for garbage cans. I know we don't, as municipality, we don't do a municipal pickup, but I've got a couple people willing to actually take the garbage. So I know maybe it's not budgeted for this year, because I think whatever we need to put in there needs to have like wheels so they can wheel them up. And if they're going to empty them and put them on their own property and they're for good enough to do it, we could take a look at that for next year. And just one other thing. This is probably the third time I've had people message me in regards to lighting in Sealy's Cove. Down towards the end, the corner, there's a dark spot there, and it runs parallel up there, and there's a lot of concerns. I know we put street lights down around the loop in Bunday Bay, so we may want to take a look up there. And when I was out by there, there's probably, I would count about 6 to 8. It is a dangerous spot at night. It's not lit up. There's nothing there, and it's coming from residents themselves in the area. So maybe come budget time, we'll take a look at that. Thanks.
Great. Councillor McKay. Okay, date and location of the next regular meeting of council is September the 18th at 7 p.m. at Macadavic Place. And I need a motion for adjournment. Councillor McKay, thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you.